What's up, y'all? This is Bree from Young Saved and Free, and I'm back with another video. For everybody that's new here, welcome to my channel. And for everybody that's been here, welcome back. And everybody who's watching, make sure you subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button down below and also hitting the notification bell. And also make sure you subscribe to my mailing list. Whew. Okay. So, I'm sorry. I know my energy is a little bit low. I'm a little bit scared to talk about this. But it is necessary. Yeah, so October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I wanted to tell my story. I feel like I'm about to cry already, and I'm just gonna keep it together for as long as I can. This is something new for me to talk about. I've never talked about it like that. But we'll go ahead and get into it. So I was actually in an abusive relationship for 5 years, on and off. 4 years on and off. It turned physically abusive when I was 19. So 2 years in, it turned physically abusive. Oh man, this is hard. When the relationship started, I was fresh out of another relationship with another guy that I thought that, we were working on getting married very young. And when that relationship ended, it destroyed me. It did. So I was in a very vulnerable place when I met this guy. The next guy, well, I think we will call him James. We'll call him James. So when I met James, I was actually out of town on vacation. Me and my best friend, my cousin, and my sister, we went to Jacksonville for spring break. My parents took us to Jacksonville. My cousin, my best friend, and I, we were all graduating from high school that year, so it was like a big trip for us just to celebrate since school year was almost over. And so the first night, me and my best friend, we went upstairs to the pool. We were staying at the Hyatt in Jacksonville, and their pool was on their roof. It was real dope. Like, you could go up to the top floor, and then there was a part where you could just walk out the door and the pool was outside. And so we were there, and being 17 years old, I think I'm so, like, just everything. Like, I'm still trying to figure out my emotions and all this because, I went from a very serious relationship to being single unexpectedly for me. So I was still trying to deal with that, but then I seen this guy at the pool. I'm like, oh, he's cute. And so, me and my friend, we walking around the hotel, discovering the hotel, whatever. Doing some little explorations. And so we're at the pool and we're sitting, talking, chatting it up, and I see James. I don't say anything. I'm like, oh, he's cute, whatever. And I go back to talking to my best friend, Megan, and James, and it was like, let's see. It was like 6 of them. And so we see them, and apparently he was like staring me down. And so, back then I was like obsessed with Channing Tatum and Coach Carter. Like, Coach Carter is still one of my favorite movies, and Channing Tatum's character was just like Jason. I was like, oh my god, who is he? Like, I need him in my life. So I've always had a thing for ratchet white boys. This has always been my thing. Don't ask me. This has been my thing. So James was white, and he was like tatted everywhere, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, I've just, like I told her, I've always had this obsession with ratchet white boys, like AJ from the Backstreet Boys. Does Justin Timberlake count? But I love Justin Timberlake, but I don't I've always been that way though. Like I don't know what it was. I dated this guy. Well, one of my first boyfriends in like elementary school. He was a Ratchet Way boy. Like I loved it. It's just been a lifelong thing for me. So when I saw James, his tattoos are what caught my attention first because I'm like a tattoo person. I have 6 myself. I'm getting more. Judge me not. And so I'm like all in my phone. And I'm sitting in one of the, you know how they have like the pool chairs outside, and I'm sitting with my knees up, so I can't really see him because he's in the pool. Like me and Megan was just in my pool being cute, right? And so she was like, "Girl, he looking at you," and I'm like, "Man, stop playing! Like stop playing." And so they end up inviting us back to their room. So we're like, "Oh yeah, we'll go." Keep in mind, I said it was like 6 of them and 2 of us. Don't know what we were thinking about. We're 17. But it was just, I don't know. I don't know what we were thinking about. So me and him we end up talking all night or whatever, and we end up exchanging numbers. And so we realized we were from the same area. Even though we met in Florida, he was from an area not too far from me because we both had the same area code. We were like, "Where are you from?" And he was like, "I'm from Columbus." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm from Augusta." And Augusta and Columbus are like 2.5 hours apart. So, I was, we was talking all day and blah, blah. We ended up seeing each other some more that vacation. And when I got back to Augusta after spring break was over, that's when the signs started to show up a little bit. And for the ladies who are in abusive relationships, if you really think about it, there were signs ahead of time, but you probably overlooked them. And I know that was my story for me. There's a thing in Augusta called Power Fest. Was it Power Fest I was going to? I think it was Power Fest that I was going to that day. And I had got and it's in April. And my allergies are through the roof. Like even now, it's October and I've had a flare up with my allergies yesterday. And this is the 17th when I'm recording this. My allergies are just crazy. So like, that day, I was telling him, he called me and he was like, "You sound sick." And I was like, "I am sick." He was like, he cussed me out. When I tell y'all he cussed me out, like he cussed me out because I was sick. He was, in his mind, I was sick because I had been kissing somebody else. And I was just like, "What? Like, what you talking about?" Like, and he was like, "I'm sick of this. You always cheating on me. You always doing this." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's like he snapped just out of nowhere, like just out the blue. And I'm like, "Yo, James, I have allergies. I have really bad allergies. Like I'm usually doped up on something this time of year. It's April. It's high pollen season. What are you talking about?" And so he's like, "Whatever. I don't want to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it later." And I'm just like, okay. And so maybe that was probably 2 weeks in. And so maybe about a week after that, we were talking and he was telling me about his dad and his parents. Because keep in mind, we don't really know each other. So we're like trying to get to know each other. And he started telling me about how his parents were getting divorced. And I was like, "Oh, that's unfortunate." I didn't really ask why they were getting divorced. But I said, "That's really sad. If you need anything, I'm here, blah, blah." And, just being the supportive person that I am. And so I can remember like maybe a month after that, he calls me again. Well, no, he texted me first and said, "Babe, I love you. But if I go to jail, I need you to hold it down." I'm like, "What?" So I'm freaking out at this point. Like, what you going to jail for? And so I call him and he was like, "My dad," he said, "when I see my dad," he said, "when I get back from Jacksonville, I'm going to kick my dad's door in." Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what you kicking the doors in for? And he was like, "My dad waited till after I left to go to Jacksonville to go to my mom's house. And now my mom is in ICU." And I'm like, "Okay, why is your mom in ICU?" And he was like, "He beat her to the point that she's in ICU. He cracked some ribs, broke her wrist, gave her black eye. She had bruises everywhere." And I'm like, "What? Like, what's like I never knew that was part of the issue that they were having at their, in their household. So I'm still like, oh my God, like, and my heart, because I have such a big heart, my heart was like, I have to protect him. I have to protect him. I have to protect him. I have, like, that's just always been me. I've always been very, very protective of people in my life, especially, if they're a man or, a friend. I've always been very, very, very protective. And so that happened. And then I remember another time, like, even in our relationship, he would just always butter me up. Like, it was just like, you're so beautiful, and I love you, and I'll do anything for you, and this is that. And like, I can't wait till we get married. And this is very early in the relationship. This is no later than like June, July when he's saying this to me. I just met him in April. Why are we talking about marriage already? Like, this is the problem. I'm 17. Why are we talking about marriage? Like, this is crazy. And so I ended up going off to school and ended up breaking up because he was convinced that I just kind of got tired of it. Of him. One, I found out he was cheating, and he would not ever admit to it. He wouldn't even, well, I would say something about it, he wouldn't even address it. And two, he kept accusing me of cheating on him because my dorm was co-ed. So like, girls were on one side of the hallway, boys were on the other side of the hallway. Like, I could walk out my door and there's boys across the hall. And so I was really insecure about it. Especially with him he was younger than me. And with him being still back at home and he can't see me when he wants to and all of that. And I remember, when we broke up, I was just over it. Like, I ended up getting back with the guy that I broke up with right before me and James started talking. And me and him ended up breaking up again. And so me and James started talking again. And he actually moved down to where I was for school. Like, one of the areas I was in all the time was Albany. And he was going to school in Albany. I was in Albany like every single weekend. So it wasn't like a big deal for me to talk to somebody that was in Albany. But I remember I was so excited when he first moved down. And so, like, I get to see him all the time. And I can't wait to see him. And so I remember he was like, when he first moved down, we were talking. I was like, we're like in a really, really good space. And we had gotten to an argument one day, and he was like, don't nobody want you but me anyway, so I don't know why you keep threatening to leave me. And I was just like, yeah, every time we got into it, I was all kind of, don't nobody want you, and you ain't all that, and you ain't this, and you ain't that. And it really started to wear on me mentally. And ladies, this is the thing. Once you're in mentally, once they have you mentally, it's almost like, for me, it was like, once I'm in mentally, I'm gone. Like, I'm just going in the deep end somewhere. And that's, when relationships are going good or when they're going bad. I've always been that way. So I started off mental, and I remember, staying with him overnight and being, I was always there. I would just leave in the morning in time for me to go to class. It was like an hour, 15-minute drive to Valdosta where I was at. And there was one day, something was going on with his mom. And I can't remember what exactly it was. I think she found out she had cancer or something. Or she got into a, no. That's not what happened that day. Something, he found out he wasn't going to be coming back for school. That's what it was. And I went and stayed with him for a while. I stayed the night, and when I got up the next morning to go to class, he like twisted my arm so bad, like, and I bruised, even though I'm darker skinned, I bruise very easy. And so I was like, James, let me go. Like, let me go. I gotta go. I gotta go to class. I'm not finna sit up here and play with you. And so it would just be like little stuff all the time. And I don't really want to talk about it in detail, but like, it would be times where I've always had a slick mouth. Like, that's just been me. And there'd be times that I would like say something and he would like push me, and we would like go off on each other all the time. Like we would argue all the time. That was just our thing. And it wasn't always bad argument. It was more so like Marcus and Angela from Why Did I Get Married? We would argue like I've always been this loud girl. Like even though I'm to myself, I can be very, very loud. So like we would argue, and then it'd be like he would push me. And I remember one time I hit my face on the side of the door, and I had this like this bruise that went right here. And back then, I did not wear makeup. I just didn't. It wasn't really my thing because of where I went to school before. We had to wear makeup all the time, and so what I found myself doing, and when I realized it was getting really, really deep, I found myself watching makeup videos on YouTube all the time because I wanted to be able to cover up any marks that were left on me. Like I literally would study the videos to the point that I would know, hey, this is how, this kind of foundation you need to use to get full coverage so they'll never see this. And I remember being like, it would get progressively worse. Some days it would be pushing and shoving. Some days he would be like, hit me. I remember the first time he hit me for real, like not just a push. It was because I think I had said something. It was because I had to go to class again. He was like, you always talking to some other dude, and blah, blah, blah. And like, I never hit him back. Why? Because race. That's why. He was a pale white man, and I'm a dark-skinned female. Granted, you can see the bruises on me, but if I hit him, and I ain't like, my hands ain't little at all. Like, I have fairly large hands to be a woman. And I've fought my whole life. So if I hit you back, you're gonna know. Like, you're gonna know that I hit him back. So I never hit him back. I just stayed because it was like, if I leave, he got all this stuff going on, and I don't want to leave nobody like that. What if he decides to kill himself because I'm not there? Because he got all this other stuff going on, and I knew what was going on. I still left. And you cannot, ladies, you cannot guilt yourself into staying into a relationship. Whether you're there or not, whatever's going on in their life is not your problem, and you cannot make it your problem. And I remember getting to a place so bad where I was furious with my family, with my friends, for not noticing that I had changed. I started wearing long sleeves all the time. Why? Because I had bruises up and down my arm and my back, all kind of stuff. Nobody noticed. Nobody said a word. Well, nobody said a word to me. They were talking among themselves. I don't know. And I remember being so upset with my cousin because I would leave her house, go see him, tell her that I was in Valdosta, and I would be getting my butt whooped every night. And it was like, didn't God show you this? Like, you see everything else regarding everybody else. Why didn't you see this? Why didn't you see that I was in trouble? Like, and I was so upset with everybody around me that was close to me. Sorry, I pulled some of the hair out of my head, but I was so upset with everybody around me because it was like, I would give somebody the shirt off my back if I saw something was wrong with them. I would do all these things, but nobody is noticing that I'm going through this. Nobody sees what's happening. And so I remember it like it was yesterday. It was March, I want to say 23rd, and I had enough. Like it was enough. I was sleeping in his bed, and keep in mind, I said he was in school, so we're in his college dorm. Both of us sleeping in twin extra long. Crazy, right? Like, it's crazy. And I remember, like, he came he was sleeping. I was sleeping facing the wall. I always sleep. I always slept on the side closest to the wall. And he came in the room, and I heard him come in the room, but I was still like half asleep. And something happened. I don't know what happened to him, but he started choking me in my sleep. Like literally was on top of me, choking me. And so that day I had enough. Like I was like, that is enough. Like we are not gonna keep doing this. I'm not gonna put my life in danger. Your life, my life is literally in your hands right now. You could have choked the life out of me. And the fact that you keep telling me you love me and that you want to protect me, that you want to be with me, you want to have a family with me, you want to get married, but you almost killed me just now. That's a problem. And so I fought back, and we were. It's funny to me now a little bit because me and him are the same height. I'm 5'3", and he might be 5'5", maybe on a good day. And so we started fighting. I was just fighting like I was hitting him so hard that he called the police on me. Like, and the police came in. They were looking at him. They looked at me, and just as I suspected, they were about to take me to jail because I you couldn't see the bruises on me as bad as you could see the ones on him because he is a white man, and also because we were in South Georgia. Like, they're not trying to hear nothing I gotta say. So thank God for his roommate, because his roommate was like, "Sorry, he's been beating her this whole time." He was like, he's like, I guess she finally said something back. She did something back, and he didn't like it. I thank God for you. If you're watching this, even though you're probably not, I thank God for you because I could have been locked up right now because of that. And so the relationship ended there, and I had put it on restraining order against him and everything, but me being me, he suckered me back in. How? His mother was diagnosed with cancer, two types of cancer, breast cancer and ovarian cancer. And that was the thing for me. That was what kept me around for him. Because it seemed like in his life, every time it rained, it poured quickly. So like he found out his mom had cancer. He got kicked out of his house where he was staying with his baby mama. He had a baby while we were not together. And his brother-in-law had died in a car accident the night before he told me. And so I was just like, not in awe, but like I just didn't really know what to do. I said, he's told me all this, he's trusted me with this information. So now I need to do my part as a friend. Even if we're not friends, like we were not friends at that point. If you tried to kill me, we're not friends. Um he, he he kept talking about it and how his sister had ran away and all this stuff. And I was just like, I can't leave him like this. I can't do this now. My issue, one of my main issues as a person is that I take on other people's issues because I care about them and I make it my issue. And so, with him, that kept becoming an issue. And so I remember one day, maybe I should tell this part too. So like, what stuff would keep happening with him. He would lose his job. He would lose, he wouldn't have a car. He wouldn't have this. And so he would be like, I need money to smoke. And I'm like, okay, like that. I was like, I can't be there physically with you right now in Columbus because he ended up going back to Columbus. But I want to make sure you're okay. So if you need to smoke, then I'll give you money to smoke. And I was literally giving him everything that I had just for him to, you know, just for, well, at that time, was I dating someone at that time? I don't think I was. Um, just to go back and forth with somebody, just to have somebody there, I was doing that. And that's not okay. But I remember one day, I'm tired, y'all, I'm sorry. I was in cognitive psychology. I'll never forget this. And we have been talking all day about his financial situation and all that. And he said, I'd be so tired. He's like, I'm literally sitting at my bed with my gun in my hand, just wanting to end all of it. Keep in mind, I told you I was a psychology major, so the mental health part it's a big thing for me. Um, and so when he said that to me, I literally picked up all my stuff, walked out of class, and went and got on the road and went to Columbus, just for me to get there. And he was just fine. Like, he was just, it wasn't even, he just wanted to have me locked in, because I was locked in mentally. He knew that he could play with my emotions. And even still, like, there's nobody that can upset me the way that he can, in the way that he can, rather. He's in prison now, not for anything that happened with me and him, but for some other reasons. And so he'll just, I met him literally 10.5 years ago. I met him. And, well, 9.5, excuse me. I met in 2010. 9.5 years ago, I met him. And my phone number's been the same the whole time. And no matter what he does, he keeps it calling, keeps texting, threatening me, all kind of stuff. And it's like, when he called me from prison, I was like, why are you, what is the problem? Like, he's like, you're supposed to be there no matter what. And I'm like, your girlfriend, like, his girlfriend, I don't know if they're still together or not. She called me and asked me to put money on his books. I was like, I'm not doing that. And I said, why did you call me? She's like, Jesse told me to call you. James told me to call you. And I'm like, does he know? Do you know who I am to him? She's like, no, he told me y'all was real good friends. Y'all met a long time ago. I said, you need to go ask him why he told you to call me and who I am to him, because I'm not gonna do this. But he blamed me, was screaming at me and all this at me on the phone when he was in prison, because he felt like it was my fault because I was supposed to let him come stay with me. All kind of stuff. Like, he wanted to come stay with me. One time he had a warrant out. Like, I'm not housing a fugitive. I can go to jail for that. I'm not doing that. There's a lot of stuff that I'm just not gonna do for you. Like, I'm not doing it. And so you have to find a place where enough is enough. Like, you don't have to deplete who you are. You don't have to accept anybody talking to you any kind of way. To this day, I deal with self-esteem issues that he played on beforehand and that he kept playing on, because he did that to me. He tore me down, completely down, after he had flattered me so much, after he was, you're the most beautiful girl ever, and I would, if I had to kill for you, I would, and all kinds of stuff. Like, you have to realize that you love yourself more than you love them, because they could kill you, but you love them so much that you let them do it. You're not Jesus. You don't have to kill yourself for anybody. You don't have to kill your soul or sell your soul just to appease a man, to make him feel good about himself. Like, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. And so I hope that if you're in an abusive relationship, or if you're in a toxic relationship, that you will go ahead and end it now. Get out now. Like, you don't know what's going to happen today, tomorrow, the next day. Just get out now. And I can guarantee you, if he's been hitting you this long, or if he's been this toxic person to you that long, it's not going to stop with you. And you have to do something for the next person. Your life is not for you. It's to uplift others. And so, even though I'm literally shaking right now talking about this, you guys need to know that. You need to know that your life is not for appeasing other people. It's not for allowing people to walk all over you, to do whatever. Your life is to please God. So I pray this blessed you all, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.